Alright guys, so here we are with the collection. One thing I did want to mention that I forgot to mention in the other video is that I did say the market was sort of cooling off, but there's a lot of people that kind of got caught up in the hype and sort of started collections and then kind of realized maybe Pokemon's not for them, or they want to spend the money on something else, which was the case in this. The guy was a toy and comic book collector. He got into the Pokemon stuff, but didn't really have a super big passion for it, and then decided to get out of it, which I expect there to be a lot of this. So I definitely think now is probably one of the best times to get into sort of buying collections and breaking them down. Obviously, grading times are long. It's not as good as it would have been 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, but the current day is, I guess, always the second best time to start, except for 10 years ago. So I will start going through some of these and kind of talking through how I look at grading them. Basically, there's like four main types of cards. There's going to be just modern bulk cards that are worth about 3 cents for just a regular card. Then you have hollows, which are worth a little bit more, reverse hollows, rares, that kind of stuff. Then you have number 2 is going to be vintage bulk, which I like to split into sets. So usually when I go through and have stuff that's not worth individual cards, I will just split it into sets. So I'll kind of do like Wizards of the Coast stuff, and then 2004 to 2010, 2010 and more modern, and then I will go through and match up all the cards with sets. And then if I do have EX cards like this that aren't worth grading, I will throw those in there with it to kind of make those cards sell a little better, because otherwise if you do an eBay listing and it has no big cards in it, it's pretty tough to sell. So I like to match up these with full sets and then try and sell the sets. The third card is going to be where you make all the money, which is grading cards. My personal criteria for grading is I look at the card and then kind of give it a rough grade myself, and then I usually subtract 1 grade or half a grade, sort of. So if I think a card is like an 8, 8.5, I'll usually go 7, and then I will look up that value on eBay, the last sold listing, and if it's more than $100, I will send that card off to get graded. And I just picked $100 because it's a pretty nice number. And by the time you figure shipping the card to PSA, the $20 to actually grade the card, your regular cost of the card, and then the chance that it grades less than what you want, $100 gives you a nice amount of room, and then you have to look at shipping the card when you sell it, and then paying selling fees. So I think $100 is not a outlandish goal. In this set of 250, hopefully I have about 30 cards that are worth grading. I know some of them are pretty beat up, but there should be some decent ones in here. So we can start flipping through. You can see this page has got quite a bit of whitening, but I noticed that that first page was the worst, and they kind of got better after that. There is a nice Charizard there. That one's worth a decent bit, but I think that one's pretty beat up. There's another one in the rest of the collection that is better. But yeah, at this step, after you get the collection, I would say eBay is going to be your best friend. These level X cards do pretty well, along with the Mewtwo card, and I believe, yeah, they are pretty beat up, I would say. Probably played condition. These promos, I think, are pretty clean. Yeah, they're a little cleaner. So there's probably some value in here. I'll have to go through and look a lot of these up because I don't know a lot of the more modern value. I believe these Shining V cards are worth a decent bit. There's an EV from the Shining Fates trainer boxes. This Hop card I thought would be worth a decent chunk, but it's only worth about $2.53, which I thought was kind of funny because I know like Lily full art trainers are really, they were kind of the last hot thing. But that is the book. And then we have all the cards in here, which are sort of the better parts of the collection. This is a full box of Delta Species cards. That's probably the most common set in here, which is interesting. He must have just bought a whole collection of Delta Species off somebody. But we'll just kind of flip through here. Again, just kind of separating the cards, or I will go through and separate the cards out into those 3 different kind of criterias. I'll do Wizards of the Coast, and then like 2002, 2003, right after Wizards of the Coast, all the way to 2010. And then I'll do 2010 to modern. So that would be, I mean, I think most of these are all going to fall in one category. Pikachus are a little newer. And sometimes too, I will pick through and I will pick out cards that I just personally like, because that is a big part of the fun in collecting, is getting to keep and build your collection. I know in those 50 cards that I sent off, there is probably 2 or 3 that I sent just to add to my personal collection because I enjoyed them. Dragonite, he will go into my PC because that is who I personally collect. Dragon Pokemon are my favorite, and Dragonite is my favorite out of all the dragons. So that is probably a personal collection card. But yeah, I'm just going to go through, separate these all out. I won't do it all on camera. There's a nice Evolutions Gyarados. That is super clean. I think Evolutions cards have really taken a big dive, but pretty nice. I know most of these older cards pretty beat up. That Muck doesn't look too bad. Probably classify as light played or excellent condition. And you do have to take a lot of these out of the sleeves. There's a more modern card. Nice Kyogre. Again, a little beat up. Now there's the nice Charizard. That one I would say is probably excellent or near mint condition. That one looks really good. No whitening. That one might even be worth grading. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, there's another Dragonite we can add to the collection. Nice Rayquaza. There's quite a few pop cards in here, which those are pretty cool. Nothing too crazy in the last of those. I won't go through the rest of them. I don't think there's anything nuts. We will just jump right into the hard sleeved cards. And some of these I don't know why they're here. Like this Scyther, I don't really understand. I think that's like the original art, isn't it? But it's not the original set. Not sure about that one. Base 2. There's a nice Latias Gold Star. Unfortunately, it is the World Championship from 2006, not an actual card. But even this is about a $50 to $70 card. And one other thing I wanted to touch on that this card brings up is when people value their collections on TCG Player, where you just scan the card and then it puts it in a list. You have to be really careful with cards like this, because if you scan it, it will register as the real card, which in near mint condition, this card is probably worth several $100s. So that can really throw off the total value of the TCG Player. And then if you make your offer based off what they said TCG is worth, you will be way overpaying, because this card is only worth about a tenth of what the real card would be worth. So there's something to keep in mind. Obviously fake cards do exist too, and a lot of people, particularly kids, don't even know that they have them. So the best way to test for that is just shining a flashlight through. If you can't see it, it's likely a real card. If you can see it, it is a fake card. Also on newer cards like this one, you can see it is texturized. So that's a good way to tell too. There's a nice Gyarados. I believe this one's worth a decent amount. And that looks not super clean. I would say light played on that one. Quite a bit of whitening up in this corner here. This Machamp is nice. I looked this one up. This is one of the prime cards from the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, and he is really clean. So that one might be worth grading. I would probably say I would look this one up as like a PSA 8. If it was worth $100, it would go into a pile to get graded. There again, another Lugia EX, which is worth several hundred, but it is the World Championship card. Surfing Pikachu, one of the bigger cards in the collection, and I believe this one is, I would say, excellent condition. There's a tiny bit of whitening up in this corner, you can see right there. Just a little bit, so probably like, again, I'd look that one up at a PSA 8. Nice Jirachi EX. This one is actually the real card, but it does have some whitening, which is unfortunate. Sometimes it's crazy to think what the cards would be worth if they were all in mint condition. How about this nice Mega Venusaur? Looks like somebody paid $4 for it. That one looks really clean too as well. But like I said, just a lot of time spent on eBay here looking up all these. And as you do it more, you get kind of better at knowing. I could probably flip through and with maybe 80% accuracy, 85%, tell you which ones are worth more than 100 and are worth grading, which ones aren't worth grading. So that definitely speeds it up. There's a nice Delta Species Sailmance, which I believe is pretty beat up too. Nice Latias. That one's decently clean, I think. I don't know if that's on the card or on the case. Looks like there's a little bit on the case, a little bit on the card. Fun sand slash card from my favorite set of all time, EX Team Rocket Returns. Is probably one of my favorite sets. I grew up with the EX sets, so I really like that one. And I also like EX Emerald and EX Fire Red Leaf Green are probably my favorite sets. The Charizard EX from Fire Red Leaf Green is an awesome card. This Charizard, unfortunately, whitening in the corners. Otherwise, that is a very nice card. Nice Mewtwo, beat up. But yeah, so I'm going to try and sell off most of these cards that aren't worth grading just to get most of my money back so you don't have a ton tied up. Usually, if you do okay in your collection and there's not a ton of mint cards, you can sell most of them to get your money back, and then usually even have a little money left over to help cover grading fees. Also, I will probably wait on these until my other graded cards come back so that I can sell some of those. And you can just kind of snowball there. So you get some money back from those. You send off some new cards. And then when those come back, you have more money to buy new collections. You had some of the original money to buy some more collections. So it just kind of snowballs. You just have to make sure you don't get caught over leveraged when the market downturns like they are right now. This was a really clean Groudon EX. That one has probably got a shot at maybe a shot at a 9. I would probably call that an 8 when I look it up, but I set that one aside because I'm sure that one's worth grading. These EX cards are worth grading to me anyways, just because they are my favorite type of card. Almost done here. Nice Latias EX. That one too is probably worth grading. I would look it up at an 8. Here is another World Championship card, unfortunately, but this was the EX Fire Red Leaf Green card that I had as a kid. I had a real Blastoise EX that I sold when I was probably 12 or 13 years old. It was not in great shape, but this is one of my grail cards that I am looking to add to my PC as soon as I have some funds from my graded stuff back and I get some sales from that. I am going to buy a really nice raw copy, or the the nicest graded copy that I can afford. Probably like a PSA 8 or 9, just because I really like that card. I really like how Blastoise looks, and I like the dark background. Just a kind of cool personal card for me there. Probably won't keep that copy because I really dislike the World Championship cards. That one looks pretty clean as well, so I think I did okay on these. There is quite a few beat up ones that were bought. He said he was buying cards just on Facebook Marketplace or at garage sales and stuff. So a lot of them are beat up, but it seems like there's probably enough here to do okay with. It seems like in one of these collections anyway, somebody knew the valuable cards and kept them in good shape because they are sleeved. Nice Rainbow Energy, Pikachu there. The Rainbow Bird Trio. That one I'd probably look up at a 9. I don't think that's worth 100 anymore. But sometimes I'll take a chance on a card too, even if it's not over 100. I will. Is that on the card? No, that is on the case. So that one's a little cleaner. Let's pop this guy out quick. I will take a chance on the card if it's not currently worth 100, if I think it could go to 100, or I just want to try and have a PSA 10 copy of it. So it does look like that. A little bit of whitening up there. Couple spots, probably like a PSA 7, I would say, just to be on the safe side. And the reason I am so conservative on my grading is the worst thing that could happen is you look up a 9, say the 9 is worth 150 bucks. You send it off, it comes back at 8 or a 7 because you overguessed what it would be, and then suddenly it's only worth 30 bucks if it's a 7 maybe, and then suddenly you're taking a loss on the card. Or if you did that enough and say you guessed them at 9s and then they kept coming back 8s, you could probably lose money pretty easily and in a hurry with the cost of grading. So I always want to be more conservative. This is a really nice primal Groudon EX, which is a really nice card. So that one will probably get sent off just because I personally like it, and I do know those are going up in price quite a bit. Capture Energy, Dark Amphimos, Scammery EX. This is one of the more expensive cards in the set. Probably near mint, maybe excellent condition. Nice Mew EX. We're almost done. Some older stuff. Palkia Level X. Again, not in great shape. Espeon, how's the Espeon? Pretty bad in the corner. Jolteon, pretty tough too. I noticed all the older cards must have been in a more rough collection because a lot of them are beat up. But we will speed through the rest of these. There's a couple amazing rare cards which I like to see because I personally like those and I think they will do well over time. So even if some of these, which I can probably guess at a PSA 9 because I think they're all pack to sleeve, which even a pack to sleeve card I would never guess at a 10 just because the odds of you getting the 10 aren't that good. But I think in a 9 it's probably not worth 100, but definitely worth grading for me just because I think they'll go up. There is another pretty nice, the Delta Species Collector must have been pretty careful because most of the cards look pretty clean. The Latias and Latios, another World Championship card unfortunately, and a Blastoise, Dark Blastoise First Edition, non-hollow, and that one is really beat up. So this is, we're about almost 17 minutes in, so I will wrap up this video. We will blaze through these real quick, and then in the next video I will have these all sorted and we can show which ones I'm going to grade and then how I'm going to sell the rest of them. I hope that you get some value. There's a nice Vivid Voltage Charizard. Those are really worth basically nothing. Hope you get some value out of the video though. I know that it's definitely some tips in here that I wish I had known when I started. But the biggest thing is to, even if you lose money, you should always be learning what you did wrong and how to do better. It's a nice Shadowless card there. How to do better on the next collection. So you are paying for an education. Hopefully after watching these, you don't have to pay quite as much. A couple sealed Psyduck promos. Those are only about $4 a piece. I did look them up already. But hopefully you don't have to pay as much and lose money to learn like I did. But all it takes is getting lucky on 1 or 2 collections and you can really profit pretty heavily, which should set you up really well for the future. There's another nice amazing rare, which is funny it's not in a hard case. These have really come down in price. When they first came out they're like $15. Now I think this card is like $4. So definitely maybe one to look at buying a whole bunch of. I don't think Yveltal is a super popular Pokemon, but I think the amazing rares will do well, especially the more desirable ones, the Kyogre. What other ones are there? Zamazenta, Zacian, Zamazenta, they could do okay. These are just bulk, so they will get sorted as well. I do have some other bulk cards actually right now, so they will probably all get put together. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe. This was part 2 of 3, so part 3 will be coming out hopefully tomorrow. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.